Here, the situation at the farm has escalated. It looks like a lot of tear gas and whatever this green smoke is as well. And a protester threw something toward the ICE officers there, but a lot of cars turning around and exiting. So it looks like something happened that forced that crowd to turn and run. Rich, are you still?
Yeah, so as we're listening to the radio chatter down here, the fire department actually had to leave this zone and head back to their where they have set up a command center for treatment for the civilians. And they said that they needed to leave the area because the crowd was starting to get a little more hostile. So for the safety of the fire department, they have left this zone here on Laguna Road. And then shortly after that is when we started seeing the tear gas and the flashbangs and the pepper balls being fired back towards the crowd. But the crowd was also picking up items, rocks, whatever I guess they can find on the ground, and starting to throw them back towards federal agents, which is just going to create an even more volatile situation here between agents and the community members. And they at some point are just going to continue to push this crowd further and further away from where this immigration enforcement operation is happening in the main section of the farm. Now, moments ago, we just saw dozens of people that were detained. They had some with their wrists that were zip tied and being set down alongside the building, possibly getting ready to be transported in one of those buses or passenger vans. And then outside of that main parking lot for the farm is where you're seeing the community members here starting to clash with ICE agents, which is pushing them further and further down Laguna Road here. Again, this all happening within the last couple of minutes. Tear gas still being continue to be thrown. This, you can see some of those pepper balls that are being fired up in the air as well. And this red truck was refusing to leave at some point, but now being escorted out of here by ICE federal police here. So further down the crowd goes.
Rich, we know that this is a mile-long stretch with people on both ends. Cars were parked in the middle of the road at some points, or you see cars from perhaps the people who showed up to work today. And this all has to get cleared out in order for ICE and those U.S. Marshals buses to eventually leave.
It does. And this is just the west side of Laguna Road where the operation is happening. On the east side is a whole nother closure. Not quite as many community members and vehicles, but there are certainly a fair amount of people and vehicles that have lined along Las Posas and Laguna Road here. So you can see additional flashbangs and canisters being fired towards the protesters, pushing them further west down Laguna Road. And they'll likely set up that skirmish line, but at this point, the operation is still continuing. There was one building here in particular where agents were concentrating on at this point. We'll head back here to the ranch property here. And here are the dozens of people that I had mentioned that are being detained here by ICE. And we'll see if they're going to be loaded up here shortly onto those passenger vans and buses. But the operation is still continuing here, and those people you're seeing along the ICE agents you're seeing handling the crowd outside of the property here are still working hard to keep them away from the main zone of where this activity is happening with ICE and the workers here at the farm.
Yeah, Rich, it's probably safe to say, like, even just in that section, it looked like close to 40 workers still waiting. And then we've been covering this for a couple of hours already, and people have already been detained. So it's going to be 100 plus at least of workers being detained, maybe even a couple of hundred.
Yeah, here, let me give you a little wider perspective here. You can see just how rural this area here. It's all agricultural area of Camarillo. And then here's the main property with the, the buildings, all the greenhouse, all that. So just based on how large this facility is, I can only imagine the cars that are parked along these buildings here. There's got to be hundreds, if not thousands of employees here for this one particular farm. So hard to say, but it looks at a lot of people, if not the majority of the people here that work at the property are now being detained by ICE members.
Rich, on the right side of our screen, we're looking at our photographer shot from the ground there with one of the ambulances taking away people, or perhaps they treated people on the scene, are now moving back to the main road as people still gather. I know earlier you mentioned that multi-casualty incident regarding the impact of tear gas canisters. What can you tell us about possible injuries here today?
Yeah, so they basically the assessment that came out over the radio chatter was that there were injuries involved in with the protesters that had clashed with ICE members here, likely from pepper balls and the tear gas that was deployed. Some of them were kind of stumbling over each other as they were trying to run and leave from the area. So multiple people had requested medical attention here. We saw at least one that was being treated here along Laguna Road, a little closer to where the activity is happening. But due to what we had just seen unfold here, where the protesters were clashing with agents and they had to deploy additional canisters of gas and pepper balls, the fire department has had to move further away, and they're going to have to try and set up a way to move patients that may be down here towards the Pleasant Valley side, where they have a command center set up. The fire department has a command center set up to help people that have been injured down here. But there is no security here for the fire department. The only security that is available would be from the federal agents themselves, our federal police. So that's really the only added protection they have. The sheriff's department is not responded down here for the crowd, nor to provide protection for the LA County firefighters or the Ventura County firefighters that are down here. So, and they mentioned if they start to get overwhelmed, if the fire department starts to get overwhelmed down there at Pleasant Valley, they're going to have to move even further out. So hopefully that doesn't become the case, and people that may have any sort of injuries down here can seek medical attention here in the area. But you know, as soon as we see the crowd run, after the tear gas is deployed, then we see a little break as far as the gas being deployed, and then the crowd starts to move back towards federal police once again, and then we end up kind of rinse and repeat. The cycle is just keeps going back and forth. Federal agents will move them down the street, then the protesters start advancing back closer to the agents, and the agents have to redeploy gas over and over again, and this is going to continue until either the protesters leave or or ICE is down here and has completed their operation here at the farm. But still many people that have been detained and have yet to be possibly loaded onto buses here at the property. So this could carry on for quite a while longer.
Rich, it's really interesting because these raids that we've seen in the last month and a half or so, there's typically the federal agents, ICE agents, then there are the protesters, then there are the people who are being detained. But typically some form of local law enforcement shows up to, like to your point, protect the firefighters or protect the paramedics or just keep the peace in general. Interesting that they haven't shown up for this one.
It is. You know, we're also in a different county. You know, we've seen these happen in different counties, different cities, whether it's, you know, the sheriff's department that you know, is the authority in the area, or it's local to the police department, you know, like the LAPD. So different policies, but in general, across the board, the local authorities have said that they don't wish to be engaged in what is happening down here with the immigration enforcement. And I think that they are doing everything they can to, the sheriff's department here in Ventura County is doing what they can to not actively get involved in this situation down here. And we'll see if that continues to be the case while this continues to happen. And if the fire department gets overwhelmed, well, they could choose to just leave the zone and move further and further away, or have no choice but to leave the area entirely, or federal police may need to come down there and provide some sort of protection for them. But I can tell you that the federal police, you know, as far as ICE or the Marshal Service, that could be down here, or National Guard members, if they happen to be down here, they basically are boxed in between the two closures here on the road, so not really able to provide that protection that the fire department needs. Let me, so here's the area here, here's the wide shot. You can see where ICE is working here on this farm. You can see all the cars on both sides of the building, likely from all the farm workers that work here. So just kind of give you an idea of just how many people could have been working at this facility here today. Then we have what's happening with the federal agents and the community members here along Laguna Road. And then we'll pan a little further down towards Pleasant Valley and just give you, let's see, you can just see how far it is. It's pretty far off in the distance. And that is where the fire department has set up to treat anybody that has requested medical attention at this point.
Rich, thank you for that view. As you saw, lots of farmland and those facilities. Ventura County Star, VC Star publication, now reporting that perhaps this is at Glass House Cannabis Farms. Those are the buildings that you see there. One woman said that her husband was hiding in one of the buildings at Glass House, and that is approximately, according to the article, where we're seeing all of these buildings. And just outside of that is our Alina Abovian. We know it was a long haul to get through all the traffic and to get up to the tape where you are now, Alina. Hi, what's going on?
Hi, Samantha. We're on the other side of Laguna. What you're seeing from the vantage point of Sky 5 is on the other side. So this is this side, and you can see we have about 10 Border Patrol agents here. This is a standoff happening between the protesters, the supporters who came to this area after they heard about the raid happening here. As far as the Border Patrol agents, I can confirm it is Border Patrol. I walked over, got a very close look at their badges. Several of these agents, they are armed, and we can confirm that tear gas was deployed here earlier. Now, an ambulance came past this area to treat people who were injured. We don't know exactly why. Now, we're moving closer to this vehicle here. This is from SoCal Edison. There seems to be some tension here between the protesters and the driver of this SoCal Edison vehicle. I'm going to move out of the way because he is backing out. So not a lot of order here, not a lot of control here. You can see it's a very chaotic situation, and this is, relatively speaking, the calmer side. Now, because this is a very large agricultural community, a lot of people here very sensitive to what's been happening, the climate, the political climate, because of these raids. They heard about this on social media, that a raid was happening here earlier this morning, so they all showed up. On the other side of Laguna, you can see dozens of vehicles. Typically, you would not see so many vehicles parked along this road because, again, this is an Oxnard, this is an ag community. And so all these people really just showing up in light of what's been happening. Majority of these people don't look like they work here. These people are protesters, and they are here to show their support. Now, since we've been here at this location over the last 20 minutes or so, it has been calm. They are staying on the other side of this yellow tape here, not wanting to clash with these agents. As you can see, that would not be a good idea considering these agents are armed. Earlier, they did deploy tear gas, so they are ready if something does happen to trigger these protesters. Some of them moving onto the other side of Laguna because one of the organizers telling us they need support on the other side. We're also hearing that the National Guard is on its way here. As far as people being injured, we don't know exactly who's been injured or how many people, but we did see several ambulances coming by this area and a triage center being set up. As far as the raid earlier, we don't know exactly how many people were taken into custody, but all of this really happening earlier this morning along Laguna Road and Las Posas Road, and the facility is called the Glass House Farms. It's located at 645 Laguna Road, and we're told that that is where the raid was focused earlier this morning. Now, as you can see, these people are standing here. They have their cell phones out. They're recording. They're just waiting for that moment for something to trigger, for something to happen. But we're told that a lot of the action really is happening on the other side of Laguna. So we're going to move there and see what we can find out there for you guys. But for now, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Alina, I know that you're just getting on the scene. Did you get a chance to chat with anybody about why they're protesting or anything?
Well, the reason why they're protesting, Lou, is because they are against these raids. They say that these are hardworking farmers. They are not criminals. They should not be the people targeted when it comes to these mass raids. That's not what should be happening here. What they're saying essentially is that the Trump administration, they need to be focusing on criminals, people who are here illegally, who are causing harm to this country, not focusing on hardworking farmers who are simply here to make a living, who are here to move this economy forward. That's the general message. We've been covering these raids for the last few weeks, and whoever you talk to, that's the sentiment that's being shared. As you can see, they're not letting even this USPS driver get through.
Yeah.
And it's getting tense out here.
Alina, we do have to let Sky 5 go and refuel, so we're going to stick with you until we hit the end of the hour here. And I guess that was kind of the question Lou and I were having, is what exactly is the goal of these protesters? We understand they're against the raids, but are they trying to prevent federal immigration enforcement officials from leaving the area? Are they planning on blocking off the traffic?
It appears to be the case. I can't say exactly what their intention is by being here, but that seems to be the case. They're trying to raise awareness. They're trying to stop this from happening. So, they're here in order to give resistance to what is transpiring. These raids have been happening over the last few weeks, and they're here to show that they are against it. They're coming out in numbers. They're very organized. As soon as the video of this raid was posted to social media, they showed up in numbers. We have over 100 people here, so you have to realize that this is possibly very organized. They are communicating with one another. They are showing up at these raids, and they want to have their message heard, which is that they are against the raids. They don't want it to happen.
Are they arguing to let the
in this case right
driver
here,
through, or are they arguing to keep him?
Yes, what they want, yes. What they want is for the Border Patrol officers to step aside to allow this federal employee who works for USPS to drive through, but that's not happening here. They have the caution tape up. Why they're able to close the street here, we don't know, but that is what's happening. You have several vehicles here, 1, 2, 3, 4 federal agent vehicles. We have about 10 federal agents, and as you can see, their faces are disguised. They have masks on, they have glasses on, they have hats on, and so you can't identify them, but they are wearing the vests, which they're supposed to, which identifies them as Border Patrol agents.
So basically,
and all of them armed, as you can see.
Basically, this mail carrier is going to have to reroute. They're forcing him to turn around, it sounds like.
To turn around, exactly, yeah. which is what we had to do as well to get here, because they have Laguna closed off, and this is happening on Laguna, both on the west side. It's what this USPS driver is now having to do. Earlier, we saw also the SoCal Edison vehicle having to turn around and go because they have this closed off. Border Patrol agents are not opening it up for anyone, not for media, and not for even a federal worker.
So basically, if he had kept going down the road, if they had let him through, he would have passed by the main building of where the detainees are being held?
Lou, I don't know exactly what's ahead because we haven't been able to access that area. I can tell you on the other side of it, I did see a lot more people. My assumption is that the facility is between here and the other closure. Now, why they have this closed off and why they are not allowing it to, why they're not allowing people to go, we don't know. I tried asking them earlier. Typically, when you see a closure like this, it's because it's a crime scene or something happened and they don't want people to go by, not to tamper with evidence or an operation that is happening. But they're not telling us why they have this closed off.
Alina, we notice, of course, the ICE agents, or the Border Patrol rather, excuse me, have their faces covered, as you mentioned. Yes. And a lot of the protesters do as well. I know there's a lot of fear on both sides about retaliation, whether it be on social media or doxing, etc. So we see both the law enforcement agents covering their identity, clearly wearing their Border Patrol uniform. A lot of the people who've shown up to support those farm workers also concealing their identity somewhat. Do you know how long they plan to be out there today to make their voices heard?
I don't know how long they plan to be out here. The situation is pretty fluid. We did hear someone on a loudspeaker earlier who I would assume is an organizer for this group telling everyone to go onto the other side of Laguna because there's just a bit more action happening there. Again, we can't see it. It's about half a mile away from where we are. We also did hear that the National Guard is coming here to allow them to go through. Now, why they assume that the logistics of that will hold up, I'm not sure, but that is what we heard from them. And yes, you are right. People on both sides do have their faces covered up. The farm workers here, protesters, they are wearing COVID-19 masks, medical masks. Why they are wearing that, maybe to protect themselves from the tear gas or to protect themselves, their identity. We don't know exactly.
Just to catch people up, this was federal.
And another thing to point out, not many of them speak English. So we've tried to speak to a few people, but many of them are Spanish speaking.
Got it. And around noon, just before noon, we heard about this federal raid on a farm near Camarillo, near Oxnard. This is unincorporated Ventura County. We see a lot of farmland, agriculture. Also, we've learned a cannabis shop. Glass House Farms was also part of the location where these immigration enforcement officials were reportedly going through the fields and the facilities to detain those who are undocumented. We've spoken with Ventura County Board of Supervisors, Vianney Lopez. We spoke with also the City of Camarillo Councilwoman, Ms. Bravo, about what's going on here. We don't have numbers at this time, but Vianney Lopez said she's determined at least 30 people have been detained in this raid today. Lou, I know you were counting as we were on Sky 5 going overhead, and it looked like possibly 100 people were detained. Rich Prickett showed us people who had zip ties around their wrists as though they were being taken into a facility, at least being questioned and detained, possibly taken onto buses with the U.S. Marshals. And now we have a camera live here with Lena Bovian, who's out in Ventura County, unincorporated, looking at Border Patrol, keeping a line of people from entering into where this raid happened.
And we've seen a lot of heated rhetoric, a lot of people very upset out here. Also, too, some people being very patient, obviously, too, just standing around in support, maybe trying to get questions, but a lot of people really angry. Even the mail carrier who came through was super frustrated, just trying to do his job.
Yes.
And he got turned around. And Alina mentioned you guys got turned around. And as a reporter showing up at a scene like this is a large operation, a huge farm. You guys finding your way around, they turned you around as well, because a lot of times they'll let media in.
That was not the case, Lou. Yes, typically they do allow media in, but they are not allowing us in. I tried asking a question. They're not being responsive. They have a very stoic demeanor. They're here for their job, and they're not really here to provide information or really to cooperate.
Alina, thank you for your reporting on the ground from one end of this federal immigration raid. We know we have a photographer on the other side as well who caught images of tear gas being used when things got a little tense between federal immigration aid, ICE enforcement agents, and people who showed up, whether it be family, friends of farm workers, or those just voicing their opposition to the raid.
Yeah, and of course, Sky 5 with Rich Prickett has been over this since the beginning, and at one point actually had to sort of stay out of the way of the Homeland Security helicopter who was monitoring, because when they first came on to this raid, there was a lot of scampering and running, and I'm sure in the beginning a little bit chaotic. But they continue to have the skirmish lines here. This is just one section of that. We appreciate you sticking around with us this afternoon. We will continue to cover this on the KTLA 5 News at 3, and we will have continuing coverage at KTLA.com as well.